Hello and welcome. This is Corey from the Bach Scholar YouTube channel, BachScholar.com, the WellRoundedPianist.com, and author and editor-in-chief of such fine publications as Sight Reading and Harmony, the world's leading system of sight reading at the keyboard, incorporating the original 5-tier system of 4-part hymns and chorales. A new and improved system of scale fingering, which introduces a whole new paradigm of scale fingering. 436 4-part chorales by J.S. Bach, the ultimate edition for performance, study, and sight reading. And many more fine publications, such as J.S. Bach's Goldberg Variations and Muzio Clementi's Opus 36 Sonatinas. In this video, I will discuss my favorite Chopin Nocturne, accompanied with some tips and tricks on how to practice. My favorite Chopin Nocturne is, drum roll, Nocturne number 14 in F sharp minor, Opus 48 number 2. Now, why do I choose this one? There's so many Chopin Nocturnes. There's like, I don't know, how many are there anyway? Looks like there's a total of like 18, 19, 20, like 21 Nocturnes, I guess. I'll be honest, I haven't really played all 21 of them, but you know, I've heard them all. I've taught several of them to piano students. Like I said, I've played several myself, but you know, out of all the ones I've played, there might be other ones that I haven't played, but out of all the ones I've played and really heard, there's something about this one, number 14, it just, I don't know, it just strikes a bell with me for some reason. And it's not one of the more famous nocturnes. In fact, the one, Opus 48 number 1, is more famous than this one. In fact, it's probably more beloved because it's often listed as the favorite nocturne of many pianists. But let's go on to the one that I really, really love. Number 14 in F sharp minor. This one is, I never hear any pianists say that this is their most favorite nocturne. I don't know why. It's so absolutely beautiful in my opinion. Okay, so what I have here is down below this video. You can print out the score. I have a link here to this is a very fine edition I found on IMSLP for you, and it is from the Polish National Edition. It is very good. I myself am playing from the Henley edition here, but I will be referring to measure numbers in here. Let's turn to the end. I want to show you the coda. Let's turn to measure 131. So this is just a couple lines from the end. And I want to go over this and show you why I like the coda first. So let's talk about the ending here. So I'm just going to play a little bit. Very beautiful. I did practice this, by the way, so I'm not sight reading by any means. I just love this. One of the unique things about this, and you'll see I'm going to look at how it's printed out here in the Polish edition here. See this scale going up here? That's basically like an F sharp major scale, starting on a B sharp right here. So it's a very easy and fluent scale to play. G flat major, if you're a pianist, you know that's pretty easy, or F sharp major, I guess in this case. So what's very interesting about this coda is whenever you have a scale ascending like that, 99% of the time, you're going to have a crescendo and maybe even an accelerando to get faster. This particular instance, Chopin says smorzando. That means to die away. And so you're getting the scale you have to time the scale to start faster and louder, and then time it to go slower and softer as you go up. So I'm going to take this trill. Now I'm going to play the scale. I'm going to start fast. That's so satisfying to practice. You need to first practice that. Do this, practice the trill. And the trill is going from C sharp to D sharp. Now, start loud, a little louder, a little faster. Slow down and get softer. And just kind of just prolong that last one there. And let's put hands together. I'm just going to do it from the last 3 measures here. Like that. Now, you might be wondering, when you look at something like this, I know that a lot of pianists will think, oh, it's a polyrhythm. Oh, you have to play like 7 against 3 or whatever weird combination. No, that's not it at all. You need to just split these in half. You have a scale going up, and you have a triplet rhythm in the left hand. 1, you have 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4, and the 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then you're even going to slow that down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now you're going to just put a scale in there, but you're not going to measure the hands between each other. They're independent. So I think that's just such a beautiful and unique ending. First of all, the scale getting lighter and softer, dying away as it's, because usually when you think of dying away as going down, it just trickles and just disappears into thin air. I love that ending. Now let's go before the ending, and let's look at what Chopin does in these very, very beautiful chord progressions here, which I just absolutely love. Let's look back at 11, 12, 13. Measure 113. Okay, so it's just one line here, and the beat is going to be something like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not very fast, pretty slow. Andantino. Ready, play. And 2, 3, 4. Here's where I really especially love the harmonies here. Listen very carefully. Measure 119. Sorry. And then it goes back to F sharp minor there. I'm going to do that again. Listen very carefully. Oh, also I want to give you a tip in playing it if you want to play this. Chopin had very long big hands, long fingers. Oftentimes, you can take the top note in the bass clef with the right hand thumb. So, like instead of having to reach a whole octave from this E to this E, like that, you can just simply take it with the thumb of the right hand, and it feels more like 4-part harmonies that way, like you're playing a Bach chorale. So it's very efficient to do that. So if you can see, watch my right hand thumb as I. let's go on. I like this chord here, and especially this one. Ooh, that's really nice there. Ooh, that's so romantic sounding. Yeah, right there, that chord right there reminds me of Scriabin. Of course, Chopin came before Scriabin, but so Scriabin maybe sounds like Chopin. Let's do that again. Let's look at measure 123. This is probably my favorite place and a favorite chord progression in the whole piece here. Measure 123. And then the main theme comes back here. We'll get into that in a second. But regarding the playing of this, you'll see the left hand has a low note, and then it usually has these very large leaps of usually an octave, like that, an octave. It's virtually impossible to connect like with 3-1 or whatever. So just do this. I would suggest this fingering. You're going to play your fifth finger on the bottom note. Just break it, because you're going to have pedal to hold that down. So break this, and then put your fifth finger on here. So without pedal, you're going to have a break. But with pedal, you're going to, with pedal, so you're not going to hear any breaks with the pedal. So that's a better fingering than it is to try to connect all those notes with the left hand. So let's try now. I'm going to play that same progression I just did, my favorite chord progression. I'm going to just back up though this time to measure 101. And so I'm going back. So this is after the middle section, which I'll talk about in a second. And this is sort of the recapitulation of the first theme coming into the coda. So now I'm going to play the last 2 pages here of starting at measure 101. So after the middle section, which is very beautiful in D flat major, Chopin, he sort of modulates to F sharp major. His way back to clearly F sharp minor as the very, very beginning, which we'll talk about in a minute. I especially like these harmonies here. You know, if you're interested in music theory, can you hear this? Okay, I'm going to play this again. I want you to tell me what these chords sound like to you. That chord right there. Can you hear what kind of chord that is? Or this one? That one, same kind of chord. Same kind of chord here. So Chopin is just using 3 of the same types of chords going up a sequence. This is a diminished 7th chord sequence. Diminished 7th. You should be able to hear that. If your ears train well, you should know instantaneously when you're playing diminished chords. Either diminished chords or diminished 7th chords. It's very valuable to know these things. So it's such a mysterious sound. And he builds it up. I want to do that again because this is one of my favorite places. I know I have all these favorite places, but let me show you this one. I'm going to back up to, let's back up to measure 109. Okay, 109. Ooh, nice, nice, nice. Hold the pedal all the while. So this measure, I like to take that F sharp with the right hand. It's smart to take it with the left hand. Just take it with the right hand. And then, now what's that chord? If you're a music theory person, what is this chord? It's a very common chord with Chopin and the Romantics. It's a G sharp half diminished. G sharp half diminished seventh chord. Okay. Now, if you remember anything about harmony, if you ever took harmony, college harmony, or if you happen to learn this from my sight reading and harmony book, in minor keys, if we're in F sharp minor, the natural 2 chord is a diminished. So it's no surprise that Chopin really made a big deal about this 2 chord, because the 2 chord in F sharp minor is a diminished, half diminished seventh. It's a very romantic sounding chord. It sounds very, very impressionistic kind of sounding. So let me play this again, and you can hear that cadence on the 2 chord in F sharp minor. Very beautiful. Now let's go on. So on and so forth, and then it goes on, and then you get to your coda. I'll spare you the time, just for time's sake here. Now, let's move to the very, very beginning. And the very beginning has an intro of just 2 measures. And it goes, the 2 measures go like this. That's all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and retard. Now, when you get to measure 3, that's when the main tempo giusto starts here. The main tempo for the piece. That's a nice chord. back to basically the same thing with some embellishments, and then that section ends, and then it goes to a middle section. I just think that it has such a beautiful flow with triplets moving in the left hand, da 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 in the left hand, and you have duplets, eighth notes in the right hand, da 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 da. So you have threes in the left and you have twos in the right. So this is also an excellent piece to practice your 2 against 3 polyrhythms. So these are polyrhythms here. So then we have a cadence. Then a cadence is, I'll play the end of the first section here. So I'm going to play from, let me play from measure 51. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong chord. There we go. We have that chord there, and then we have. Then it leads us into a new tonal center, which is D flat major. So in the outer sections are an F sharp minor, very mysterious, kind of romantic key of F sharp minor. And the middle section is in a very open sounding major key of D flat major. It is beautiful, and it's a little slower too. So the middle section is even a little slower than the outer sections. So let me play a little bit of the middle for you. The middle section is in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know, I love this section here. It's just so rich. It's in a rich area of the piano here, and it's very almost Brahmsian in its use of the chords. This is something that that particular kind of voicing, it just sounds like Brahms. Like if I just heard that, I wouldn't think Chopin. But it's very beautiful because what he does here, and Chopin said, I was reading a little about this, Chopin said he wanted this to be like a recitative, very free in its rhythm. So you have a leader here, and then you have a follower, a little softer like that. And I cross hands. Most people try to go, they try to do it all with one hand, but it's really more and more. Also, I like to hold down C, G flat, and C while you play those. Then it gives it a little more bass foundation. You don't have to use any pedal. Or you can use a little pedal if you want, but that's better than having it naked on the bottom there. So that's why I like to cross my hand over. So he basically has that theme stated 2 times. And then I'm going to show you the transition, which I just absolutely love. So Chopin goes into the middle section in D flat, which in my Henley edition lasts 2 pages. It's basically just a theme with basically like 16 or so measures, and then it repeats, and then it has a little transitional section here. So listen to this transition. So I'm going to go along. Now it goes back to the original. That's so beautiful. Now let's talk about these fast, these 9 notes. It's like a no nuplet. I guess there's 9 notes. Measure 98. So you don't have to count those. All you have to do is technically, I play the left hand on that triad. Right hand goes over there, left hand. It's really quite simple, really. You don't want to do it all with the left hand, but you have that. Then you play that D flat with your thumb. And then play 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Then you don't have to worry about like trying to do it all with your right hand. I mean, you can do it all with your right hand if you want, but I think it's a little more fluent if you do that. Now listen to the transition. You heard that already. Did you hear how when I was playing just now I was slowing down, kind of making it sound kind of dreamy? You can do stuff like that with Chopin, which you really can't do very much with Bach or Mozart. So I find that it's very pleasing. I think this nocturne is just so pleasing. That's I think why it's my favorite nocturne. I love the theme. It's a very satisfying theme for me, I think. So that basically in a nutshell is my little synopsis of Nocturne number 14. And I hope you will give this nocturne a try if you have never played it. You may want to join the Well-Rounded Pianist, where you can learn from me on there how to play it from a tutorial. And so thanks for joining me today, and stay tuned for more videos like this in the near future.